got chicken on sale in Walmart for the dogs, and the cats eat that too. So on the way back to the house, I'll talk about raw diet. Now I am planning to work the dogs, the client dogs, on reverse retrieves today, but I just broke down my show in New York City. It was pretty exhausting. It's over a 10-hour drive and stuff. 6 down there, 6 back, stuff like that. I'll be perfectly honest with you. That show I knew was going to be difficult. I know it was going to be difficult. I wanted to show the USS Turtle, which I did. I don't know if it was the best place to show it, or the time. I mean, don't show my stuff during Halloween. That's common sense. I said that when I was, but I was like, well, maybe we'll get traffic coming in here. But you don't show animatronic stuff during Halloween or Christmas. So I'm not saying it went bad. Everything ran. But I'm already planning another show. So why do I do this to myself? Why do I do it? It's like an addiction. Clearly, I'm addicted to making art. I spend money I shouldn't spend. That's clear. That's clear. Anytime I put up a show, I'm spending money with, there's no guarantee I'm going to get anything, back. If it wasn't for some of the people that, support this channel, I wouldn't have been able to do that show at all. The pandemic was difficult for me with dogs. Man, my clients come from all over, so there have been clients that couldn't get into the country and shit. There were clients that were stuck here. It was a tough couple of years for me. It was. And now the pandemic might not be over, but it seems like everybody's like, get vaccinated and let's move on. That's the approach I'm taking. I'm wearing a mask. I don't care if I had to wear a mask for the rest of my life. It's not a big deal. People won't be getting the flu as often. That's a fact. Or COVID. It's not a big deal. Wear a mask when you're, working on stuff. So you wear a mask now when you go in a store. I'm trying to get rid of my caffeine headache. So if you get the timing right, you go into Walmart, you'll get reduced chicken. So that people don't buy, they buy too much chicken and then it's going to expire, so they put it on sale. So I bought a lot of them, so I probably saved $10 because I probably bought maybe 100 pounds. Each bag is 10 pounds. So each bag cost me $5.53. So I saved $1 on each bag. Now a lot of people don't want to give their dog raw diet. Vets will say no raw diet. One, they want to sell you pet food. Two, they think that the average dog owner or cat owner is an idiot, which they are. I mean, I don't know how many times I've explained raw diet, that the animal must eat the bone. That's part of their diet. And then the owner doesn't give a shit, goes and gets some ground turkey or ground beef without adding calcium. If you do add calcium, don't get calcium with D3 in it. D3 is fat's, it's not water soluble, so it'll store up in the dog's fat, and that amount of D3, man, you can really fuck up your dog. So know that. It takes a period of time for it to store up, but it will rather quickly. All animals that eat whole other animals, seals, dolphins, birds of prey, wolves, coyotes, foxes, bone as part of their diet. They ingest the whole animal. They eat the whole animal. They don't just eat part of it. So it's important that when you give raw diet, you know that you're giving your dog raw diet. The best way to do that and make sure that they get enough calcium is by using bone-in chicken leg quarters, that cut only, because the chicken leg quarter has that area of spine on it. So you don't give a drumstick or a thigh because it won't have enough calcium. And you want enough calcium. You want, if you give like a thigh, your dog's poop will be terrible. So you want to give enough calcium to the dog when you're giving raw diet. So that is what most people that do raw diet do, because it's cost effective. Also, raw diet, the part of the raw diet that's important, protein, bone, and fat, okay? There's a minuscule portion which is plant material, and that is never raw. You never get that like raw spinach. It needs to be canned spinach works great. But if a dog or a cat ate an animal, they would be ingesting the stomach contents of that animal, and it would be cooked in the stomach juices of that animal. So it doesn't matter if it's a bovine, it's a buffalo in, Yellowstone. Same thing. The cow has several stomachs. It'll go into that fermentation chamber and start breaking down. So the wolf would eat some of that. But it's the smallest part of your raw diet. That's just how it is. The dog, the pet food companies describe it as not an obligated carnivore, meaning it's a carnivore, but we can give it a lot more and get away with it. That doesn't mean that it's right. So it's weird, but they say a cat is a carnivore, but they give a cat, get out of the road, crow. They give a cat, they make this cat food with corn in it. When would I, it's like the second ingredient in cat food is like corn. What? The reason why they do this is to make it more cost effective. The pet food companies know that they can do that to make money, because meat is going to cost more than corn. Now, there's been a whole thing in the past of like pet food companies, they're trying to sell this like grain-free diet as the healthier diet. Not necessarily. There's mostly grain-free diets on the US or the FDA's list of like, be careful because you'll give your dog cardiomyopathy. Now the reason for this is they think is because they're putting beans, they put like lentils and stuff. That should never be given to your dog. Don't ever give that to your dog. That's what they suspect, but it's grain-free food that causes cardiomyopathy. I will never give it. I never believed it. I was just like, what? Oh, okay. So you're saying a sweet potato or a potato is better than corn? How's that? If you're gonna give dog food, I don't recommend it. Dog food. There's no good dog food. People ask me, there isn't. Dogs aren't about convenience. If you're going to have a dog, it's going to be inconvenient. So you might look into knowing that, going to Walmart and knowing that it's not going to be expensive. It'll be less expensive to give raw diet. So if you use chicken leg quarters, there's all kinds of excuses. It'll cost more. No, it won't. It'll be cheaper. What's the other excuse that people use? It's, I don't want to give my dog hormones and antibiotics. That's not what's given to those chickens. It says it right on the bag that there's no reason to give it. Those chickens that come from Tyson and Purdue are inoculated in the egg for salmonella, so it's not an issue. So when your vet says, well, I don't recommend raw diet, and you question them, they'll say, well, it's a public health issue because of salmonella. But if you're getting your chicken from a factory farm, that's not going to be the issue. The issue would be if you're an idiot and you think, well, I'm going to give my dog the best chicken and it's going to be free range. Well, free range isn't so good because it's out with wild animals, and that's how they get salmonella. So the chickens that that you get at Walmart, places like that, they've only been alive for a couple months, and then they butcher them. So there's a lot of reasons to go to Walmart or a big box store and get your chicken leg quarters. They're always going to be cheap. That's the cheapest cut you're going to get. 10 pounds is $5. Come on, if you have a big dog, that's going to last you for a week. That's a fact. You won't see the diarrhea and stuff, the problems if your dog is on raw diet. Dogs that are on pet food, what they use for calcium, they use bone. They use bone meal. They use bone meal for calcium, and bone meal is cooked bone, and you never give cooked bone to your dog. It's an irritant. It's an irritant. So why are they putting it in pet food? Why? Because it's cheaper to use shitty bone meal. Just don't use bone meal. If you're gonna use meat and it doesn't have bone in it, poultry bones are great because they digest it easily. They can chew them up and digest them. They're hollow. It's cooked chicken bones that are the problem. Cooked bones will splinter and cause enteritis in your dog, no matter what kind of bone it is. Also, tilapia. If your dog is allergic to, I got frozen whole tilapia back there I could give to the dogs. So if your dog is allergic to chicken, there's other things that you give. Frozen whole tilapia, head on and all. They eat the bones. They can eat the bones. You cook the chicken bones, or the fish bones, it's a problem. No cooked bones of any kind, ever. No steak bones. You have a steak, don't give it to your dog. And if you're giving steak and there's A1 sauce on it, don't do that, because A1 sauce has raisins in it. Raisins are grapes, and grapes are toxic to your dog. You need to watch this. You need to be careful. Don't be giving people food anyway. You're just screwing up the dog. People that do this, you give your dog people food and the dog's sitting by the table drooling. It's like in a catatonic state. If you pick the plate up, go like this, the dog tracks the plate. If a human's in a catatonic state, you want them out of the catatonic state quicker. It's healthier for the brain. It's a fact. The same is true with the dog. So don't get the dog doing that when the dog does it. Stop giving people food. If you're under the assumption that, I just give it every now and then, you're giving people food, your dog's going to keep doing it. Get them away from the table, just don't ever do it again. There's no reason to be food training any dog, one. And if you're working with a food trainer that says give your dog hot dogs and shit like that or cheese, run from them. Hot dogs, I like them. I'm not saying that they're healthy for a human, but they're not going to be healthy for your dog either. And they have no calcium in them. So if you have a dog trainer that's like, we train with hot dogs, they really love them. Well, it's not a balanced food because it doesn't have the proper amount of calcium. You're going to give your dog diarrhea. And then they'll say cheese. Dogs are lactose intolerant, all of them. You don't give any milk products. We're like the only animal that ingests eats milk products or drinks milk after we're weaned. You don't give it to your cat, you don't give it to your dog. Cats need to be on raw diet too. I'm cutting up chicken for Mango or something, I cut it up for Bucket and Kittles. You got to get your dog or your cat on it. If your cat's finicky, which they all are, sort of, I'll give you a hint. You want to get your dog on or your cat on raw diet. If they don't eat it, let them get a little hungry and try it again later. Okay? Kittles went on it like that. Bucket was a little finicky. But if you're going to give it to them and they don't eat it, right? They don't eat it. And then you give them cat food. Why are they gonna eat the fucking chicken? You just keep giving them pet food. They're just gonna wait you out. They're not idiots, okay? So, and another thing you could do to help get get your cat on raw is a lot of times they like beef. You could try cutting up some beef around them. When they come over to smell it, don't discourage them. Keep cutting it. Maybe cut a real small piece. If you can get them to eat a small piece, eventually you can give them a big chunk and they'll chew on it. I see Bucket chewing on a drumstick and shit. He's chewing it up. I'm just telling you how it is. You think your pet food is not a natural diet, think about it. It's dry like crackers. So it's terrible to try and get your dog housebroken on that stuff because they eat the kibble and then they have to drink a lot of water. They drink a ton of water, those dogs on that. Like, they have to hydrate it. It goes in the stomach and then it has to be hydrated. So then it expands and pushes out. And by the way, you do not transition the dog into raw, you just stop giving kibble. Because if you transition them and they ate raw, you give them pet food, it's going to push out undigested bone. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's just the pet food's very unnatural to give your dog or cat. It's not good. It isn't. The only reason I would ever give pet food again is if like something happens to the chicken supply. I did do it for a little, like when the pandemic started, because I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen, which was a bummer. It was a bummer. The backyard smelled. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was everywhere. It was like landmines. With raw diet, hard poops, tiny, quarter the size of a regular poop. You want to make sure that they get enough calcium, because if they have too much calcium, they'll just excrete it. If they don't have enough, they'll leach it from their own bones. Did you hear me? Did you hear what I just said? If your dog doesn't get enough calcium, they need at least twice as much as a human. At least, depending on the dog. But if they don't get enough calcium, they'll leach it from their own bones. That's it. That's it. Don't make excuses. There is no excuse. It's cheaper than dog food. Your dog likes it more. What else? I don't know. That's about it. Anyway. Some things in life are predictable. Anyway, I'll see you. Bye-bye.